In this video, we're going to solve equations involving rational exponents by factoring out the greatest common factor. It says the following equation has three real solutions, one of which is 0. So they already tell us one of the solutions. It's saying that one of them is 0, so we don't have to find that one. But we need to factor out, and this is similar to Unit 1, we need to factor out an x value. We're going to basically factor out a fractional exponent here, and we want to look for the smallest fraction. So 6/5 is actually larger than 4/5. So we're going to factor out 4 x to the 4/5 to start this problem. When we do that, we end up with, if I factor out 4 x to the 4/5 here, I end up with x to the 2/5, right? Like bases add them, so that's how you get the 6/5. Minus, if I factor a 4 out of this, I get 4. Factor x to the 4/5, it's gone. So that's equal to 0. Now I'm going to use the zero product property. So I get 4 x to the 4/5 is equal to 0. Or x to the 2/5 minus 4 is equal to 0. So I'm going to divide this side by 4. You get x to the 4/5 is equal to 0 when you divide each side by 4. And then we'll take the left side to the 5/4 power and the right side to the 5/4 power. And you can see that's how we get our x equals 0 factor there. Let's do the same thing on the right side. We get x is equal to 4 when we add the 4 over. Sorry, x to the 2/5 is equal to 4. We take the x to the 2/5 and we're going to take it to the 5/2 power. But we have to do that same thing to the 4, so we get 4 to the 5/2 power. Now this is an interesting piece here. I'm going to kind of go through it step by step, but because of this denominator in the fraction, because the denominator is even, that means we're actually still square rooting this. So if we were to write this differently, we would say that this is x is equal to plus it, well, we'd have root 4 to the 5th power, which means I better put a plus minus here. So I can do that in my calculator, and I can say that 4 to the 5th power is 1024. So I have plus minus root 1024, which when I take the square root of that, I get 32. So I have x is equal to plus and minus 32. So my solutions are x equals 0 or x equal 32 or x equal negative 32. Let's do a second example. Which exponents are larger, 5/2 or 3? Well, 5/2 is 2.5, and 3, it obviously is bigger than 2.5. So I can actually write this a little different. Let me write this as 7x to the 6/2, right? That's still 3, minus 35 x to the 5/2 equal to 0. Let's factor out the 5/2 and the 7. So we have 7x to the 5/2, and then we'd be left with x to the 1/2 minus, factor a 7 out of that, they'd be minus 5. X to the 5/2 is gone. That's equal to 0. So then we would go through and we would say 7x to the 5/2, ZPP, is equal to 0, or x to the 1/2 minus 5 is equal to 0. You can see that this is just going to be 0. We can divide by 7. So we have x to the 5/2 is equal to 0. We can say that this to the 2/5 power, so 0 to the 2/5 power. This cancels to x equal 0. On the right side, though, we have x to the 1/2 is equal to, add the 5 over, square root each side. So we take x to the 1/2 to the 2/1 power, which is equal to, I think I said square root, I meant square each side, so take it to the 2/1 power. So we have 5 to the 2nd power. And then we can say that that is x is equal to 25. So we have two solutions, x equals 0 and x equals 25.